Have you ever felt that there's more to life than what we see? That nagging feeling that something bigger is out there, just waiting to be discovered? Well, you're not alone, and you're onto something incredible. Today, we're diving into a world that's both mysterious and exciting, the world of consciousness and presence. Now, don't worry if these words sound a bit fancy. By the time we're done, you'll not only understand what they mean, but you'll also see how they can change your life in amazing ways. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a vast ocean. On the surface, you see the waves, your thoughts, feelings, and everyday experiences. But beneath those waves lies a whole universe of untapped potential. That's what we're going to explore today. We're going to learn how to dive deep into that ocean and discover treasures you never knew existed within you. Think about it. Have you ever been so caught up in your thoughts that you missed what was happening right in front of you? Or maybe you've had those moments where time seemed to stand still and you felt completely alive and connected to everything around you. These experiences are just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to consciousness and presence. They're like little glimpses into a whole new way of experiencing life. But here's the really exciting part. This isn't just some far-out idea or spiritual mumbo-jumbo. It's something real that you can learn and practice. And the best part? You don't need any special equipment or skills to get started. Everything you need is already inside you, just waiting to be awakened. Now you might be thinking, this sounds interesting, but why should I care? What's in it for me? Well, let me ask you this. Have you ever felt like life is passing you by? Like you're stuck on autopilot, going through the motions day after day without really living? That's what happens when we don't tap into our consciousness and presence. We miss out on so much of what life has to offer. Think about all the little moments that make up your day. The taste of your morning coffee, the feel of the sun on your skin, the smile of a loved one. How many of these moments do we miss because we're lost in our thoughts, worrying about the future or reliving the past? It's like we're sleepwalking through our own lives, missing out on the richness and beauty that's right in front of us. But it's not just about missing out on the good stuff. When we're not fully conscious and present, we're more likely to make mistakes, to react instead of respond, to let our emotions control us instead of the other way around. We might snap at someone we care about, make poor decisions at work, or miss important opportunities because we're not really there to see them. And here's something even bigger to think about. When we're not awake to our own inner world, we're more easily influenced by the outside world. We might find ourselves following the crowd, living up to other people's expectations instead of our own, or getting caught up in the constant noise and distraction of modern life. It's like we're letting life happen to us instead of actively creating the life we want. But it doesn't have to be this way. When we learn to tap into our consciousness and practice presence, everything changes. Suddenly, we're in the driver's seat of our own lives. We start to see things more clearly, make better choices, and feel more alive and connected to the world around us. It's like waking up from a long sleep and realizing that the world is so much more vibrant and full of possibilities than we ever imagined. So what exactly is consciousness? It might sound like a big, complicated idea, but it's actually something you experience every day. Consciousness is simply being aware of your thoughts, your feelings, your surroundings, and yourself. It's that inner you that's watching and experiencing everything that happens in your life. Think of it like this. Have you ever caught yourself daydreaming and then suddenly realized you were daydreaming? That moment of realization is consciousness in action. It's the part of you that can step back and observe your own mind at work. It's like having a little spotlight inside your head that you can shine on different parts of your experience. But consciousness isn't just about what's happening in your head. It's also about being aware of the world around you. It's noticing the details of your environment, the feelings in your body, the emotions of the people around you. It's like turning up the volume on your senses and really tuning in to the full experience of being alive. Now you might be thinking, aren't I already conscious? I mean, I'm awake and thinking, right? And you're absolutely right. You are conscious. But the exciting thing is that consciousness isn't just an on-off switch. It's more like a muscle that you can develop and strengthen. The more you practice being conscious, the more aware and awake you become. Imagine you're looking at a beautiful painting. At first glance, you might just see the overall picture, but as you look closer, you start to notice more details. The brush strokes, the subtle shades of color, the way the light and shadow play across the canvas. That's what developing your consciousness is like. You start to notice more and more about your inner and outer world. And here's where it gets really interesting. As you become more conscious, you start to see how your thoughts and beliefs shape your experience of reality. You might notice, for example, that when you're in a bad mood, everything seems to go wrong. But when you're feeling good, opportunities seem to pop up everywhere. This isn't just coincidence, it's the power of consciousness at work. Being more conscious also helps you understand yourself better. You might start to notice patterns in your thoughts and behaviors that you never saw before. Maybe you realize that you always get anxious before big meetings, or that you tend to overeat when you're stressed. Once you're aware of these patterns, you have the power to change them. But consciousness isn't just about self-improvement. It's also about connecting more deeply with the world around you. When you're fully conscious, you might find yourself moved to tears by a beautiful piece of music, or filled with awe at the sight of a starry sky. You might feel a deeper sense of empathy and connection with other people, understanding their joys and struggles on a whole new level. And here's something really amazing. As you develop your consciousness, you might start to have experiences that go beyond your everyday reality. Many people report moments of profound peace, joy, or connection that they can't quite put into words. Some describe feeling a sense of oneness with everything around them, or glimpsing a reality that's bigger than what we usually perceive. While these experiences might sound strange or mystical, they're actually quite common as people deepen their practice of consciousness. The beauty of consciousness is that it's always available to you, right here, right now. You don't need any special equipment or to go anywhere special. All you need to do is turn your attention inward and start paying attention. It's like you've been carrying around a superpower all your life, and now you're finally learning how to use it. The art of being present. Now that we've explored consciousness, let's dive into its close companion, presence. Presence is all about being fully engaged in the here and now. It's when your mind, body, and attention are all focused on what's happening right in this moment, rather than being scattered across thoughts of the past or worries about the future. Think about a time when you were completely absorbed in an activity. Maybe you were playing a sport, creating art, or having a deep conversation with a friend. Remember how time seemed to fly by, and you were totally immersed in what you were doing? That's presence in action. It's a state where you're fully alive to the current moment, experiencing it with all your senses. Presence is like a superpower for your everyday life. When you're present, you're not half listening to your friend while scrolling through your phone. You're not eating a meal without tasting it because you're thinking about work. Instead, you're fully there, experiencing life in high definition. But here's the thing, in our modern world, being present can be a real challenge. We're constantly bombarded with distractions. Our phones ping with notifications, our minds race with to-do lists, and we're often trying to multitask our way through the day. It's like we're skimming the surface of life instead of diving deep into each moment. The good news is that presence is a skill you can develop. Just like building a muscle, the more you practice being present, the easier it becomes. And the benefits are incredible. When you're present, you make fewer mistakes because you're paying attention. You enjoy life more because you're actually experiencing it fully. You connect better with others because you're really listening and engaging with them. Presence also has a wonderful way of melting away stress and anxiety. Think about it. Most of our worries are about the future or regrets about the past. But when you're fully present, those worries fade into the background. You're too busy experiencing the now to get caught up in what-ifs and should-haves. So we've talked about what consciousness and presence are, but you might be wondering, why should I care? How will this actually improve my life? Well, get ready, because the benefits of developing these skills are truly life-changing. First off, let's talk about happiness. Have you ever noticed that when you're fully engrossed in something you enjoy, you feel happier? That's because presence is a direct route to joy. When you're present, you're able to savor the good moments in life instead of letting them slip by unnoticed. You might find yourself delighting in simple pleasures, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the taste of your favorite food, the sound of laughter. By being more conscious and present, you're essentially turning up the volume on the happiness in your life. But it's not just about feeling good. Consciousness and presence can dramatically improve your performance in all areas of life. When you're more aware and focused, you make better decisions. You're less likely to react impulsively and more likely to respond thoughtfully to situations. This can lead to improvements in your work, your relationships, and your personal growth. Think about how often miscommunications happen because we're not really listening to each other. Now imagine how your relationships could improve if you were fully present in your conversations, really hearing and understanding the people in your life. The same goes for your relationship with yourself. By being more conscious, you can better understand your own thoughts, feelings, and motivations. This self-awareness is the foundation for personal growth and positive change. Consciousness and presence are also powerful tools for managing stress and anxiety. When you're fully in the present moment, you're not worrying about the future or regretting the past. You're simply experiencing what is. This can bring a profound sense of peace and calm even in the midst of life's challenges. Moreover, developing these skills can lead to a deeper sense of meaning and purpose in life. When you're more conscious, you start to see the interconnectedness of all things. You might find yourself feeling more compassion for others and a greater sense of responsibility to the world around you. Many people report that as they become more conscious and present, they feel a stronger connection to something larger than themselves, whether they call it nature, the universe, or the divine. Now that we understand why consciousness and presence are so important, let's talk about how we can start developing these skills in our everyday lives. The beautiful thing about this practice is that you can start right now wherever you are. You don't need any special equipment or to go anywhere special. All you need is your own mind and a willingness to pay attention. Let's start with a simple exercise that you can do anytime, anywhere. It's called the 5 Senses Check-In. Here's how it works. Wherever you are right now, take a moment to pause. Now, go through each of your 5 senses one by one. What do you see around you? Try to notice colors, shapes, and textures you might usually overlook. What do you hear? Pay attention to both loud and subtle sounds. What can you smell? Even if there's no strong odor, there's usually some scent in the air. What can you taste? Even if you're not eating, you might notice a lingering taste in your mouth. Finally, what can you feel? Notice the sensation of your clothes against your skin, the temperature of the air, the feeling of your feet on the ground. This simple exercise is a powerful way to bring yourself into the present moment. It grounds you in your immediate experience and pulls your attention away from the constant chatter of thoughts in your mind. Try doing this a few times throughout your day and notice how it changes your experience. Another powerful practice for developing presence is mindful breathing. This is a cornerstone of many meditation practices, but you don't need to be a seasoned meditator to benefit from it. Here's how to do it. Simply bring your attention to your breath. Notice the sensation of the air moving in and out of your body. Feel your chest or belly rising and falling with each breath. When your mind wanders, and it will, that's completely normal, gently bring your attention back to your breath. You might be surprised at how challenging this simple exercise can be at first. Our minds are used to constantly jumping from thought to thought, but with practice, you'll find it easier to stay focused on your breath for longer periods. This exercise not only helps you become more present, but it also trains your mind to be more focused and less easily distracted in general. As you go about your day, try to bring this same quality of attention to your everyday activities. When you're eating, really taste your food. Notice the flavors, textures, and smells. When you're walking, feel the sensation of your feet touching the ground. When you're talking with someone, give them your full attention. Listen not just to their words, but to their tone of voice and body language. Remember, the goal isn't to be perfectly present all the time. That's not realistic, and it's not even necessary. The practice is in noticing when you've drifted away from the present moment and gently bringing yourself back. Each time you do this, you're strengthening your presence muscle. It's also important to approach this practice with kindness and patience. Our minds have been conditioned to wander and worry, so it takes time to develop new habits. Don't get frustrated if you find it difficult at first. Every moment of presence, no matter how brief, is valuable. As you continue to practice, you might start to notice changes in your everyday experience. Colors might seem brighter, food might taste better, and you might find yourself feeling more connected to the people and world around you. You might also notice that you're better able to handle stress and challenges because you're more grounded in the present moment. The ripple effect, how consciousness affects our daily life. As we continue to cultivate consciousness and presence in our lives, we start to notice profound changes in how we experience the world around us. It's like putting on a pair of glasses for the first time and suddenly seeing everything in sharp detail. The world hasn't changed, but our perception of it has, and that makes all the difference. One of the most noticeable effects is how our relationships begin to transform. When we're more conscious and present, we become better listeners. We're not just waiting for our turn to speak, but truly hearing what others are saying. This deeper level of communication can lead to stronger connections, more empathy, and less misunderstanding. You might find that conflicts resolve more easily because you're able to see things from the other person's perspective. In our work lives, increased consciousness can lead to improved focus and productivity. Instead of constantly multitasking, which research shows isn't actually effective, we learn to give our full attention to one task at a time. This not only leads to better quality work, but also reduces stress because we're not constantly splitting our attention. Our decision-making skills also improve as we become more conscious. We're less likely to make impulsive choices based on fleeting emotions or external pressures. Instead, we can pause, tune into our inner wisdom, and make choices that align with our true values and goals. Perhaps one of the most profound changes is in how we relate to our own thoughts and emotions. As we practice consciousness, we start to realize that we are not our thoughts. We can observe them without getting caught up in them. This creates a sense of spaciousness and freedom in our minds. We're less likely to be overwhelmed by negative emotions because we can see them as passing experiences rather than defining who we are. This shift in perspective can be particularly powerful when it comes to dealing with anxiety and stress. Instead of getting caught in a spiral of worry about the future, we can bring our attention back to the present moment, where things are often much more manageable than our fears would have us believe. Consciousness also tends to foster a greater sense of gratitude in our lives. We start to notice and appreciate the small joys and beauties that we might have overlooked before. A sunset, a kind gesture from a stranger, the comfort of a warm bed. These simple pleasures become sources of deep contentment when we're fully present to experience them. As with any worthwhile endeavor, developing consciousness and presence comes with its own set of challenges. It's important to be aware of these potential obstacles so we can navigate them with patience and compassion for ourselves. One of the most common challenges is the wandering mind. You might sit down to practice mindfulness and find that your thoughts are racing, jumping from one topic to another like a hyperactive monkey. This is completely normal. Our minds are designed to think, and they're very good at it. The key is not to get frustrated or judge yourself when this happens. Instead, each time you notice your mind has wandered, gently bring your attention back to the present moment. This act of noticing and returning is the practice. Another challenge is consistency. In our busy lives, it can be hard to find time for regular practice. We might start with good intentions, but then life gets in the way and we forget or put it off. The solution here is to start small. Even a few minutes of conscious presence each day can make a big difference. Try integrating brief moments of mindfulness into your existing routine while brushing your teeth, waiting in line, or before starting your workday. Sometimes, as we become more conscious, we might encounter uncomfortable emotions or memories that we've been avoiding. This can be distressing, but it's actually a sign of progress. We're becoming aware of parts of ourselves that need attention and healing. If this happens, be gentle with yourself. It might be helpful to seek support from a therapist or counselor who can guide you through processing these experiences. There's also the challenge of expectations. We might expect that practicing consciousness will immediately lead to constant peace and happiness. When we still experience negative emotions or challenges, we might feel discouraged. Remember, the goal isn't to eliminate all negative experiences, but to change our relationship with them. Even in difficult moments, consciousness can help us respond with more clarity and resilience. Lastly, in a world that often values constant activity and productivity, taking time to simply be present might feel counterintuitive or even selfish. But remember, by developing your consciousness, you're not just helping yourself, you're becoming more equipped to contribute positively to the world around you. As we deepen our practice of consciousness and presence, we often begin to experience a profound shift in how we see ourselves in relation to the world around us. Many people report a growing sense of interconnectedness, a feeling that we're not separate individuals, but part of a larger whole. This shift in perspective can have far-reaching implications. When we truly internalize the idea that we're all connected, it naturally leads to greater compassion and empathy. We start to understand that our actions don't just affect us, but ripple out to impact others and the world at large. This awareness can inspire us to live more ethically and sustainably. We might become more conscious of our consumption habits, considering the environmental and social impacts of our choices. We might feel called to engage more in our communities or to support causes that align with our values. Moreover, as more people develop their consciousness, it has the potential to create positive change on a societal level. Imagine a world where more people are making decisions from a place of awareness and interconnectedness rather than fear or self-interest. This could lead to more cooperative problem-solving, reduced conflict, and innovative solutions to global challenges. On a personal level, this sense of interconnectedness can bring a profound sense of meaning and purpose to our lives. We begin to see that our individual growth and well-being are intricately linked with the well-being of others and the planet as a whole. This can be a source of great motivation and fulfillment. It's important to note that this doesn't mean losing our individuality. Rather, it's about recognizing that we can be unique individuals while also being part of something larger. It's like being a single wave in the vast ocean, distinct yet inseparable from the whole. As we come to the end of our exploration of consciousness and presence, remember that this is just the beginning. The journey of awakening to your inner universe is lifelong, filled with discoveries, challenges, and profound rewards. We've covered a lot of ground, from understanding what consciousness and presence are, to exploring their benefits, to learning practical ways to cultivate them in our daily lives. We've discussed the challenges you might face and the broader implications of this practice for our interconnected world. But knowledge alone isn't enough. The real magic happens when you start to apply these concepts in your own life. Start small. Take a few conscious breaths. Practice being fully present in your next conversation. Notice the sensations in your body as you go about your day. Each moment of awareness is a step on this incredible journey. Remember, there's no rush and no final destination. The practice itself is the goal. Be patient and kind with yourself as you develop these skills. Celebrate the small victories, the moments when you catch yourself lost in thought and bring yourself back to the present, the times when you respond with awareness instead of reacting automatically. As you continue on this path, you may find that your life transforms in ways you never imagined. You might discover a deep well of peace within yourself, even amidst life's challenges. You might find yourself experiencing joy more frequently and intensely. Your relationships might deepen, your work might become more fulfilling, and you might feel a greater sense of connection to the world around you. But beyond these personal benefits, remember that by developing your own consciousness, you're contributing to the awakening of our collective consciousness. In a world that often seems chaotic and divided, your practice of presence and awareness is a powerful force for positive change. So take a deep breath. Feel the aliveness of this moment. Your journey into the universe within has already begun. And the best part? Each moment offers a new opportunity to awaken, to be present, to fully experience the richness of your life. The universe within you is vast and beautiful, waiting to be explored. All you need to do is pay attention.